It's time for Levack and Goz to answer the question, why?
Tell me why?
Why?
Every time I hear that now, I think of what's her face,
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, playing Tanya Harding. Have you seen the pictures? Right?
Harley Quinn's not looking good.
I mean, she still looks good.
Margot Robbie.
Don't get me wrong. Even as she could dress up as Tanya Harding and still come home to me. I'll be all right with it.
What was the name? Monsters Ball. Who won the Academy Award?
Halle Berry for Monsters
No,
Ball.
no.
Oh, that was just Monster with Charlize Theron.
Yes, well, you're right, Levack. She looked terrible in that movie, but she's very beautiful.
Well, you have to, like beautiful people have to be ugly to win awards. That's why I eat so much, hoping we can get a New York State broadcaster.
Here we go. And it's why, where we ask the most baffling questions over the week in sports. We try to figure them out. The rules are simple. You just can't say, I don't know, and why not. We'll start with this one. No, the New York Giants have released Victor Cruz and Rashad Jennings. Why?
$10 million, guys. $10 million. The contracts free up $7.5 from one, $2.5 from the other. It's $10 million that I can use towards JPP or whatever else I want to do. So the answer to your question is exactly $10 million American currency.
But doesn't it hurt the heart a little bit with these two? Victor Cruz, the salsa dance, a popular player, the come-from-behind story, undrafted UMass, had a big preseason game, wins the Super Bowl. Rashad Jennings, I don't want to speak for you, but for me, one of my favorite athletes I've ever interviewed. Just a
former fat kid.
Right.
Got his act together.
A truly nice guy. Does an incredible amount of work off the field. But this is the NFL.
Well, look, I mean, we've seen that you can be, attached to your players, keep them way after they're done being productive. The Patriots do it all the time. Oh, wait, no, they don't. They cut you loose the second you slow down a half a step, and they go on and win multiple Super Bowls. This is what you got to do. Cruz is going to get a good shot to play in Denver, I think.
And Victor, I like that. I was going to say Victor Cruz's replacement could be somebody younger, cheaper, and faster.
And a legitimate outside receiver.
Yes.
Or older, slower, but bigger, Brandon Marshall.
Brandon Marshall to the Giants?
I'm hearing there's interest.
Having him and Odell Beckham Jr.?
And Sterling.
Wow.
Sterling Shepard in the slot, OBJ on one side, and then that big monster on the other side.
If that's the case, the Giants have way more faith in Paul Perkins than I have. And my faith in Paul Perkins is basically zero.
Right, which is, I don't understand.
He wasn't active till December. He's a mid to lower round draft pick. He didn't do anything in 2016 to make me think that's the guy for the future.
He's had more 100-yard games in the NFL than Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, or any of the other running backs in the draft.
Don't give me that, because I can't argue with that. They didn't play in the NFL yet. Oh, my goodness.
And he has. He knows.
I'm moving on to number 2.
Moving on.
Chicago Cubs pitcher Jake Arrieta is going to be a free agent more than likely after this season. Why?
Same thing we just talked about with Victor Cruz. Basically, he's getting older. The control wasn't as good last year. He was still really, really good, but it wasn't as good. And Theo Epstein don't play, man. I'm here to win. I came here to chew bubblegum and break curses.
He's going to turn 31 in March. Last season, he was 18-8 and helped your team win the World Series. The year before that, he went 22-6 and won the Cy Young Award. I get he was terrible in Baltimore. And you look back at that trade and think, well, the Cubs trade for Jake Arrieta. Like, what are they doing?
Right.
And he turns into an absolute ace. But they wouldn't want to bring this guy back for at least 3 more years. The Cubs have a great future with that offense. The pitchers are really good.
Possibly bring him back, but it'll be. See what you do is you start floating a little dissension in the ranks right now to lower the price. He's not coming back for what he's making now. Not by anything close.
And I thought about you when I read this story today about Jake Arrieta's contract.
Because he's a good-looking man.
No,
a lot of money.
No, neither of those things. I thought about the Oakland Raiders.
The Oakland
Raiders have a really good season.
Yes.
They don't win the Super Bowl, but they have a really good season. And their priorities are, let's bring back our quarterback. One of the reasons we were successful.
And
Khalil Mack.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we get him to long-term deals.
Right.
But in baseball,
they're both like 23.
Okay, but still, in baseball, one of the reasons the Cubs got better was because of Arrieta, older. But you wouldn't have the same mindset of bringing him back and making sure no one else gets him. It just
that whole pitching staff, that whole rotation is going to get turned over. That whole thing. I mean, that's if we're being perfectly honest, they're going to move. They're going to move a couple bats and bring in some big arms. They're going to hope that their guys come up through their farm system and do well. That whole pitching staff will turn over the next 2 to 3 years tops.
We're going hockey here for this one.
Hockey!
The Montreal Canadiens fired their head coach, and they are in first place. They hired their rival, Boston Bruins' former head coach.
Right.
So, Michel Tirron, that's my little French right there, is fired. Claude Julien is hired.
Claude.
Why are you firing and then hiring a rival and firing a coach who's in first place? This whole thing confuses me.
You want to make sense out of a game that was pioneered by people who put sharpened rocks on the bottom of their feet to get across large bodies of frozen water. You want me to make sense of that? Bottom line, man, just sometimes you got to go with your gut. Your gut tells you guy's not the right fit for your organization anymore, even though everything's going well. Ride it out, man. Make the change. Make the change.
This is crazy. This is like the Yankees firing Joe Torre years ago and then hiring Grady Little.
Well, think about it. It would be, Buck Showalter leads them to, what probably would have been a World Series team, if not for a strike-shortened season, and they don't bring him back. They bring in Joe Torre. It happens. It does happen.
We'll move on to the next one. Pedro Martinez is helping Luis Severino. Why?
Torture me. Just to make me... He got wind of the fact that I wanted to do a boo bar when he was getting put into the Hall of Fame, and now he's like, it's the only way to be meaner to Levack than this is to do... I don't know. All of a sudden he's Mexican.
And by helping, we don't mean like he's moving boxes out of his apartment.
No,
he's helping his pitching, his career.
They had 5 sessions together where he's been working on and helping Severino work on his control. I'm going to have to thank Pedro Martinez when Luis Severino becomes the ace of the Yankees this year.
How about Pedro Martinez cares about Severino? He's a good person. He wants young baseball players to get better.
No,
Could that be the answer?
It's definitely Dominican pride because they're both from the Dominican Republic. But at the same time, it's like, have you ever heard of Levack in Albany? Yeah. I hate him so much. I'm going to steal his favorite young pitcher.
That has nothing.
And if this doesn't work, I'm calling James Caprilli and I'm going to help him next.
It has nothing to do with it.
Exactly what it was. Big Papi's going to do hitting stuff with Clint Frazier.
Let's make you feel even worse here. Alex Rodriguez is at spring training with the Yankees as a hitting instructor. Why?
Because this was the deal they made. This is what they said. Go away quietly and we'll let you come back for spring training so it'll look like you've saved some face and then hopefully you get a coaching job or something during the season. And by the way, here's $20 god-awful million. Jerk. Cheating. Evil.
Well, hang on.
Steroid
Wait. We've talked to a lot of people. Maybe you can name more than one. One person we've talked to, ex-players, current players, former managers, media members. One person of all those people told us A-Rod's not a good teammate. A-Rod's not respected in the locker room. His teammates loved Alex Rodriguez. Managers think he has a great baseball mind. Everything he does off the field, the cheating, all of that, that's one part of it. But if you have someone who's respected in the clubhouse and knows baseball and can get your team better, you got to kind of take him if he's going to help you out a bit. If it wasn't for steroids, we're talking about a Hall of Fame, one of the great, top 20 to 25 players of all time.
Probably higher than that.
Maybe 15 in the history of baseball.
Yeah, but we are talking about steroids, and we are talking about a guy who sued dead people. I hate him, and I don't want him around my team. But he'll be there. One more year.
Last one for you.
One more year.
Reporters and media members are protesting this year's White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why?
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense at all, because think about this. Where in the world is Trump going to take more abuse than the White House Correspondents' Dinner? Do we know who's hosting?
Years ago, 2011, I think it's the famous one, where Trump is in the audience, and Obama and Seth Meyers are ripping into Trump, saying, you'll never be president. It has now become a famous moment almost 6 years later to when it happened.
But this is the time everybody's going to take shots at him, too. You know what I mean? I don't know. Just the food looks good. Excuse to wear a tux. I'm in.
I now have a new professional goal.
No, I was joking.
No. I have a professional goal. You know, on this show, I pride myself. My whole career almost is based off of my friends, family members, even you, my coworker, my good friend, wondering, how in the world are you allowed to that, Goz? Who approved your media pass? How are you sitting where you're sitting? I've been able to pull that off. If I could somehow, some way, get into the White House Correspondents' Dinner, regardless of who the president is, If you're there at this convention and you're spotted with celebrities or whoever, I want to be there. It is now number one on my list.
I almost don't want to like the president at that point.
Why? Because I'm now associated with him?
No, because the abuse that's going to happen both ways. Like, you know what I mean? It'd just be easier. I think like when you're old and gray, Goz, you should write a book, and it should be Tom Gozlowski, the third story. How the hell did I get in here?
But you got to think, right?
And like it should be just pictures of your passes to like random things.
Why was he here? Why was he here?
Right.
If continued media outlets protest this, they said we're boycotting, we're not going. Well, they got to fill the place.
Well, who ended up being the band at the inauguration? Like so many big names wouldn't do that. They're like all of a sudden it was like. Eminent Nod or Jug Band Christmas was like playing the
Nickelback. Bo Bice, the runner-up to Carrie Underwood on American Idol. He was there. I want to be there. They're eventually going to protest. Vertical Horizon.
Everybody, it's VH. Van Halen, no. Vertical Horizon. Woo!
Scrantonicity from The Office.
Scrantonicity.
All those people were there. I'm now putting a goal. I want to get to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. No matter what. 1 year, they're going to work their way to Goz.